Do you remember what the first 3 letters from Surah Al-Baqarah are? Alif, Lam, Mim. Now, how are they read and how long should they be? Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. That's the topic for this video, and it's about separated letters. Let's get into the details. In terms of learning outcomes and what you should be able to get from this video, number 1 is you should be able to understand how to read separated letters, and number 2, you should recognize the length of each of these letters. So Alif, Lam, Mim, the first 3 letters in the first ayah of Surah Al-Baqarah. These are called separated letters, and there are 14 separated letters in the Quran, and they came at the start of 29 surahs. So how do we read it? We say Alif, Lam, Mim. So let's dissect that and analyze it a bit. Alif, we say the letter Alif, that's how we pronounce it. Lam, that has a mad lazim of 6 harakat. And then Mim, that has a mad lazim of 6 harakat as well. And if you notice here, when we said Lam, Mim, there was a ghunnah, because let's dissect the 2 words or letters. At the end of the letter Lam, there's a Mim, and at the beginning of the letter Mim, there's a Mim. So that Mim and Mim are an idgham shafawi, and there's a ghunnah associated with it, and that's why you heard it, that lengthened ghunnah. Let's take another example. Yasin. Now here you would have noticed that the length of the 2 letters are different. So Ya is 2 harakat, and Sin is 6 harakat. So there's a mad lazim with the letter Sin. And another point to note is when we said Ya, we're not pronouncing the name of the letter, because the name of the letter is Ya with a hamza, Ya. But we're saying Ya just with an alif, Ya. So we don't pronounce the name of the letter, but we pronounce it Ya. Why? Well, هكذا أنزلت. And that's how the Prophet ﷺ read it. Another one, Hamim. Similarly here, Ha is 2 harakat, and we say Ha, not Ha. And Mim is 6 harakat. That's a mad lazim. Now, which letters have which length? So let's look at the table here. There are 14 letters, we said. The first one is the letter Alif, and we read it as Alif. There's no mad involved in there. But keep in mind, a common mistake here is for someone to say Alif. We need to make sure that the kasrah is sharp. Alif. And the second category is the letters that are combined in the word Hayyun Tahur. So the Ha, the Ya, the Ta, the Ha, and the Ra. With these ones, we say Ha, Ya, Ta, Ha, Ra. So all these are 2 harakat. And you notice we did not pronounce the name of the letter, but just like you heard, Ha, Ya, Ta. So there's no hamza at the end of it. And the next group of letters are combined in the phrase سَنَقُصُّ لَكُمْ. And all these, we lengthen them to 6 harakat. So Sin, Noon, Qaf, and so on and so forth. And the last letter of these huruf muqatta'a, or the separated letters, is the Ayn. And when we read the Ayn, we read it with either 4 or 6 harakat. And that follows mad leen. So we read it with 4, Ayn, or 6, Ayn. Now let's practice one example from Surah Maryam. Now let's look at it and dissect it first, and then we'll do it together. We have a kaf, a ha, a ya, a ayn, and a sad. So if we look at it, the kaf, that one will be 6 harakat. The ha, that will be 2 harakat, and we'll say ha. Ya is 2 harakat. Ayn can be 4 or 6. We'll read it with 6 just for this practice. And the sad, that will be 6 harakat as well. So let's read it. Let's take a deep breath. كاف ها يا عين صاد. And you also notice here between the ayn and sad there was an ikhfa because there was a noon at the end of ayn and a sad at the beginning of sad. So we did an ikhfa. So let's revisit those learning objectives. Number 1, we wanted to identify the separated letters. And now we know there are 14 separated letters. And number 2, we wanted to identify the lengths of these letters. We said alif does not have a mad. And then there's a group of letters that has 2 harakat of mad. And that's hayyun tahur, or the letters within that phrase. And there's a group which has 6 harakat combined in sanaqussu lakum. And there's the ayn, which can be 4 or 6 harakat. We'll see you in the next video. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.